Think about that one thing you own that just feels kind of special. Maybe it's just a coffee mug or, I don't know, an old watch. It's more than just its function, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's this whole layer of feeling how it makes you feel.
Yeah, exactly. We often just focus on, does it work?
Right. But that emotional connection we have with things, it really shapes our experiences, maybe more than we think. It guides our choices, definitely.
Okay, so let's dive right into this then. This deep dive is all about emotional design.
Hmm.
This idea of intentionally creating products, services too, that actually make us feel specific things.
Hmm. It's not just about functionality. It's about making things resonate,
Yeah.
making them connect.
Okay, resonating. I like that.
Yeah, and the sources we looked at, they really show this isn't just like fluff or just aesthetics. Emotional design has real tangible effects on how we use things, how successful they are.
So we're going to try and unpack the core ideas, right?
Yeah.
The theory, the impact, what
And the strategies behind it, yeah. But keeping it focused.
Right. Our mission here, for you listening, is really to get straight to the heart of emotional design. Why do some designs just click with us emotionally? And why does that actually matter? We'll try to keep it concise, no jargon overload.
Okay, sounds good. A great place to start is probably Don Norman's framework. He breaks it down into 3 levels. Really helps understand how products trigger different emotions in us.
Norman's 3 levels. Okay, lay them on me.
So the first one is the visceral level.
Visceral. Oh,
This is your immediate, like, subconscious reaction. It's all about the sensory stuff, how it looks, how it feels, maybe even how it sounds. It's that gut reaction before you even really think.
so that instant attraction you feel to like a really sleek sports car.
Exactly. Or, the feel of a really nice phone in your hand, even something visually striking, like that Philippe Stark juicer. You know the one.
The juicy salif. Yeah, it looks amazing, even if maybe it's not the most practical juicer.
Right. That's the visceral level grabbing you. It's about that immediate sensory hit. Think about colors and branding, too. Red for energy, blue for trust. That's tapping right into visceral responses.
Okay, got it. Visceral is the gut check. What's next?
Next is the behavioral level.
Behavioral, so how it works, the actual using of it.
Precisely. It's about the pleasure and effectiveness of use. Usability, performance. Does it actually do the job well? Does it make you feel competent or frustrated?
Okay. So when something just works smoothly, like Google search, you type it in, boom, there are the results. That feeling of satisfaction.
Exactly. That ease, that feeling of, I got this. It's often subconscious when you're doing something you know well.
Or even like the satisfying click of a well-made button. Or an app that's just super intuitive to navigate. It's almost like the lack of frustration feels good.
You nailed it. Bad behavioral design. That leads straight to frustration, annoyance. Good behavioral design feels effortless, efficient. It minimizes friction.
Okay, visceral, behavioral. What's the third one?
The third level is reflective design.
Reflective. Sounds more thoughtful, conscious.
Exactly. This is where conscious thought comes in. It's about the meaning we attach to a product, the story it tells about us, the memories it might hold, how it fits with our values, our self-image.
Right, okay. So like the status symbol aspect of a luxury watch or car.
That's part of it, yeah. Or the good feeling you might get from buying from a brand like Thomas shoes, knowing they give back.
Or the whole lifestyle image that brands like Nike project. You buy into that story.
Precisely. It's about the narrative, the personal significance. This level develops over time. It's influenced by culture, personal history. And interestingly, a strong reflective connection can sometimes make us overlook flaws at the other levels.
Really? So if you really love what it stands for, you might forgive it being a bit clunky to use.
It can happen, yeah. Reflective meaning can be really powerful.
So these 3 levels, visceral, behavioral, reflective, they're not separate boxes, they interact.
Oh, completely interconnected. A great first impression, that visceral appeal, might make you more patient if it's slightly tricky to use initially.
But equally, if something is constantly frustrating to use bad behavioral design, that's going to sour even the most beautiful object eventually.
Makes sense.
And reflective meaning can keep you loyal even if the usability isn't perfect. There's actually something called the aesthetic usability effect. We tend to perceive attractive things as being easier to use, even if they aren't objectively.
Huh. Interesting. So our brains kind of link beauty and ease of use.
Seems that way, yeah. It's a dynamic interplay between all 3 levels.
Okay, got it. So let's zoom out a bit. Why is this emotional design stuff actually important? Like, what's the real value in a nutshell?
Well, fundamentally, it just makes the experience of using things better, more enjoyable, more memorable. It helps build a connection.
So happier users.
Happier users, yeah.
Mm.
And things that feel good to use can actually seem easier or more efficient, even if the core function is the same as something less appealing. It just adds to our overall sense of kind of well-being when interacting with stuff.
That makes sense. If it feels good, you feel better using it. Exactly. And beyond the individual user, it drives engagement and loyalty. Think about it, if you have positive feelings towards a product or app, you're more likely to keep using it, right?
Yeah, definitely. You might even tell your friends about it.
Precisely. You become an advocate. So for businesses, that's huge. It helps them stand out, builds brand trust, influences our purchasing decisions. It's not just a nice to have, it's strategically important.
So it should be baked into how products are made, how they're marketed.
Ideally, yes. Thinking about the desired emotional outcome should be part of the process.
Okay, so how do designers actually do this? What are some quick techniques, like for each level?
Sure. For visceral, it's often about that visual appeal, clean design, color psychology, powerful imagery, typography choices,
Well,
sensory stuff.
go look and feel.
Yeah. For behavioral, it's things like really intuitive interaction design, clear feedback so you know what's happening, even small things like little animations or sounds, micro interactions that provide feedback and maybe a bit of delight, making error messages more empathetic instead of just error 404.
Ah, okay. Making it smooth and maybe even a little fun to use.
Exactly. And then for reflective, it's often about storytelling. What's the brand's purpose? Personalization can make users feel valued, giving the product or service a distinct personality, a tone of voice that feels human, building a community around it, aligning with values like sustainability.
So it's about the bigger picture, the meaning.
Right. And the key is often integrating these things. Even small details, when done thoughtfully across the levels, add up.
Can you give some quick examples of brands or products that do this well? You mentioned Apple earlier.
Yeah, Apple's a classic example. Viscerally sleek designs, right? Behaviorally, their operating systems are generally seen as quite intuitive. And reflectively, there's the whole brand image of innovation, creativity, maybe status. They hit all three.
Okay. What about, say, those mindfulness apps
Mm.
like Headspace or Calm?
Good one. Viscerally, they use soothing colors, calming sounds, gentle animations.
Right, sets the mood immediately.
Behaviorally, they guide you through the meditation process clearly, making it easy to follow. And reflectively, it's all tied to the goal of improving well-being, reducing stress.
Makes sense. What about mascots? Like the MailChimp monkey or the Duolingo owl?
Yeah, they add visceral appeal, make the brand feel friendly. They add personality, which is reflective. And often they provide guidance or feedback, which touches on the behavioral level too.
Interesting how one element can work on multiple levels.
Let's think about Airbnb too. Visceral appeal through beautiful travel photos.
It's a dreaming, yeah.
Reflective appeal, tapping into wanderlust, community, belonging. And then behaviorally, they aim for a smooth, easy booking process. Successful emotional design often orchestrates across all levels.
Okay, I see the pattern. Now, quick clarification. We hear terms like UX design and UI design a lot. How does emotional design fit in with those? Are they the same thing?
Good question. They're related but distinct. Think of UX, user experience design, as the big picture. It's about the user's entire journey and interaction with a product or service, aiming for it to be effective, efficient, and, yes, satisfying. It's the overall strategy.
Okay, UX is the whole experience.
Right. Then UI, user interface design, is more focused on the specific touch points, the visual elements, the buttons, the layout, the interactive bits you actually see and touch. It's the surface, the aesthetics, and interaction mechanics.
Got it. So UX is the journey, UI is the vehicle's dashboard and controls. Where does emotional design fit?
Emotional design is more like an approach or a lens that you apply within both UX and UI. It asks, beyond just making it usable, how do we want the user to feel? What specific emotions are we trying to evoke or avoid? It intentionally shapes the affective, the emotional part of the experience.
Okay, so it's a specific focus on feelings that informs both the overall journey and the specific interactions.
Exactly. Now, obviously, this isn't always easy. There are challenges.
Like what?
Well, balancing emotion with pure functionality sometimes. And emotion is subjective, right? What one person finds delightful, another might find annoying. Culture plays a big role, too.
Yeah, designing for universal emotional appeal sounds tricky.
It is. And measuring emotional impact is hard. Plus, there are ethical considerations. You don't want to manipulate people using emotions. Think about dark patterns in design that trick you into doing
Right,
things.
that's a big one. Using emotion responsibly.
Definitely. Things like privacy with emotion tracking tech, getting informed consent, designers needing to prioritize user well-being over just, say, engagement metrics. It's an important ongoing discussion.
Okay, so worthwhile, but needs care. Looking ahead quickly, what's the future looking like for emotional design? You mentioned technology.
Yeah, it seems like AI and something called effective computing or emotion AI are going to play a bigger role.
Emotion AI, what's that?
Technology that can potentially recognize and respond to human emotions, maybe through facial expressions, voice tone, physiological signals.
Wow. Okay, so computers understanding how we feel.
That's the direction, yeah.
Yeah.
This could lead to highly personalized experiences that adapt in real time. Imagine, like, an educational program sensing frustration and offering help, or a car interface adjusting based on driver stress.
That sounds potentially amazing, but also a bit sci-fi.
It does. And think about immersive tech like VR and AR. Emotion AI could make those experiences incredibly adaptive and real feeling.
Creating virtual worlds that react to your mood.
Could be. There's also a growing focus on using these tools to design explicitly for well-being, for fostering empathy. But again, all this comes with those ethical questions amplified. How do we use this power responsibly?
Definitely a lot to think about there. So to sort of wrap things up, the big takeaway seems to be that emotional design is really about being intentional about feelings in design,
Hmm.
going beyond just making things work to making them connect.
That's a great way to put it. It's about enhancing the experience, building that deeper, more meaningful connection by considering the visceral, behavioral, and reflective responses.
And understanding Norman's levels gives us a really useful way to think about how that happens.
Absolutely. It's a lens you can apply to almost anything.
So maybe for you listening, the challenge is to start noticing this more. The products, the apps, the services you use every day. What emotions are they actually evoking in you? How does that change how you feel about them, how you use them?
Yeah, become aware of it. And it leaves us with that interesting thought, doesn't it?
Oh,
As our technology gets smarter about emotions, how is our relationship with it going to change? And what responsibility do we all have, designers and users alike, to make sure that evolution is, well, empathetic and ethical?
a big question to ponder. If this quick dive got you curious, definitely check out Don Norman's work, maybe look more into effective computing. There's a lot more to explore.
For sure. It's a fascinating field.